Hello and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into one of the biggest questions we can ask ourselves, and we're doing it through the lens of a truly unimaginable experience. We're going to explore how it's possible to find meaning even when you feel like you've lost absolutely everything. So let's just jump right in. How do you find meaning when you've lost it all? It's a question a lot of us might think about, in our tougher moments. But for one man, this wasn't just some late-night philosophical thought. The answer to this very question was literally the key to his survival. Our story begins in one of the darkest chapters of human history, the Nazi concentration camps during World War II. And we're going to see it all through the eyes of a psychiatrist who lived through it, a man named Viktor Frankl. I mean, think about it. Frankl lost everything that made him who he was. His family, his life's work, even his name was taken away and replaced with a number. He was thrown into this world of constant, brutal suffering. So for him, the question, why live, wasn't academic at all. It was real, and it was urgent. The reality of camp life was a nightmare designed to crush the human spirit. We're talking about starvation, disease, freezing cold, and the constant threat of being sent to the gas chambers. It was horrific. And yet, right in the middle of all this horror, Frankl started to notice something really incredible about who survived and who didn't. And this is where he found the key. He realized this quote from the philosopher Nietzsche held the secret. Survival wasn't just about physical strength, not at all. The real difference maker was having a reason, a why, to keep going and to endure the unimaginable how of their daily life. He saw this incredibly clear split. The people who made it through, he noticed, were the ones who held on to some kind of future goal. Maybe it was the hope of seeing their child again, or a scientist who just had to finish their book. But on the other side, those who lost all faith, who felt their life had no purpose anymore, they were often the first to give up. And if you want a powerful, heartbreaking example of this, just listen to the story of his fellow inmate Felix. Felix was clinging to this dream that he'd be free by March 30th. But as the day got closer, the war situation got worse, and it just seemed impossible. The day before his deadline, his hope completely vanished. And just like that, his body gave up. He died of an infection he'd been fighting off. His why was gone, and his body just couldn't bear the how anymore. So this begs a huge question, right? If you're in a situation that's completely unbearable and you can't change it, what power do you actually have left? Well, Frankl's next insight is one of the most important in the history of psychology. He had this incredible realization. No matter what the guards did to his body, the beatings, the starvation, they could not control his mind. They couldn't touch his spirit. He realized there's always this tiny little gap between what happens to us, the stimulus, and how we react to it, the response. And in that tiny space, that's where our freedom lives. This was it. This was the ultimate truth he discovered in the camps. They could control his environment, they could control his body, but that one thing, that choice of how to face it all, that was his, and his alone. The power to choose your own attitude is the one freedom that can never, ever be taken from you. And this is the bottom line. Your character isn't defined by your circumstances. It's defined by the choices you make inside those circumstances. Frankl saw both sides. He saw prisoners who became cruel and turned on each other, but he also saw saints who would share their very last piece of bread. The conditions were the same for everyone. The decisions were what made all the difference. Now, after he was liberated, Frankl didn't just write a memoir. He took these earth-shattering insights and used them to build a whole new approach to psychotherapy. He called it logotherapy. So what is logotherapy? Well, logos is the Greek word for meaning. And the core idea is that our biggest, most powerful motivation as human beings is our search for meaning. And the best part is, he laid out a clear path for how we can find it no matter what we're going through. Frankl gives us this amazing framework. He says there are 3 main ways to find your why. First, through purpose, creating something, doing a meaningful job. Second, through love, experiencing a deep connection with another person. And third, and this is maybe the most profound one, through courage, the attitude we choose to take when we're faced with suffering we can't escape. Let's look at a really moving example of that third path. So this elderly man came to Frankl, just completely crushed by grief after his wife died. Frankl couldn't take the pain away, but he asked him a simple question. And in that one moment, everything shifted for the man. He saw that his terrible suffering had a purpose. It was a sacrifice. His pain meant that the woman he loved didn't have to feel that same pain. The suffering didn't vanish, but its meaning was completely transformed. So, what's the big takeaway here? How do we take these lessons, forged in the most extreme conditions imaginable, and apply them to our own lives? Well, Frankl hits us with this giant paradox. Our culture is constantly telling us, chase happiness, go get it. But Frankl says, nope, that's not how it works. Happiness, and success too, aren't things you can hunt down. They're side effects. They're what happens when you stop focusing on yourself and dedicate yourself to something bigger. Real, true fulfillment doesn't come from asking what life can give you. It comes when you flip the script and start asking what you can give to life. It comes from purpose, from connection, from losing yourself in service to a cause or in love for another person.
And that is the powerful question Frankl leaves for every single one of us. The ultimate challenge isn't to figure out what you expect from life, it's to realize that life is asking something of you. And it's in answering that call, whatever it may be, that we truly find our meaning.